Good morning from Little Creek Bee Ranch. We're continuing on with our tabletop lesson series and box manipulations and strategies. Since it's super cold outside, we'll date the film here. January 21, 2022 in Oklahoma, northeast Oklahoma. It's like 19 degrees outside. For us Okies, it's like holy crap. We're not from North Dakota, so we're all like, we don't know what to do. Chase the ice cubes down the road, man, something. But, here we're going to do some lessons on box manipulations. Now, we've done a series of these. I've written down here 4 more still yet to teach and do. And this whole idea of box manipulation seems to throw new beekeepers kind of on their heels. They're not quite sure, like, what the heck are you talking about? Well, when you're new to beekeeping the first year or two, it's like drinking from a fire hose if you just try to keep up. But bees are, really smart, and you've got to acknowledge the learning curve. That's the first thing I tell my students is, oh no, you got a monster learning curve that's going to eat you alive. So it helps to have a good coaching system. You can go to littlecreekbeeranch.com, our home website, and look at the personal advisor program for coaching support service. That's real popular. But the fact that the learning curve is real high across the country, we seem to have this low bee IQ. And that's what we talk a lot about as a teacher and a coach. I address low bee IQs. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just saying, hey man, you gotta work at this thing called beekeeping, because the bees are so smart. So what you see on the table is some blocks, and we're going to do some manipulations. So I've set before you 2 little white pieces of paper, and it says my home. This is a principle. These are about principles, bee principles. And this spot right here on the earth is the bee's home. The bees are spot sensitive. That is a principle. Bees are spot sensitive. Bees are spot sensitive. So I could pick a hive up and move it over here, and it'd be okay. But if I did something weird, like picked it up and moved it out here 5 yards, something turned it, they'd be all screwed up. So we move bees in a certain way. But we want to understand how to manipulate these boxes on the rails and why we do what we do. So I would take, like this is a medium box. These are 2 mediums. This is a brood chamber issue we're talking about today. So let's say I take these 2 mediums, and I'm going to put them right here, but I'm going to turn them so I can see them myself. I got to see them myself. And then 2 deeps. This is two deep boxes, and we're going to set them right here. Okay, now the rails that we set on are 4 by 4, 4 inch by 4 inch, 8-foot beams. And we'll set 1 cinder block under here and 1 cinder block under there. And that's all the cinder blocks we need on the side. We don't want them up too high. If you up too high, then the wind can take them over. That's happened a couple of times. That's not fun. So we leave 1 cinder block, 2 beams. And we'll work from behind or the side, never out in the front. 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock are the bees' territory area. We'll work from behind or the side. So we have them on beams. Now here in the middle is called a free zone, and we leave that open for a purpose and a reason, for doing flip and twists and splits and slides and manipulations and maneuvers, and we need that room right there in the middle. Too many times traditional beekeepers come in and they may pack it up, man. They may pack in bees. They got bees packed on the rails, boy, I mean. Well, you don't have any maneuver room. None. And that's important. It's very, very important that you understand maneuver room and why we do shuffling and slides and different things like that. Okay. Got the idea so far. I hope that kind of makes sense. Okay, so today's topic, we're going to talk about the difference between, now watch this, the difference between, maybe I should turn them this way so you can see. Whereas the colonies, they'd be set this way. But anyway, mediums, 2 mediums, and 2 deeps. Okay, now I'm turning them so you can see the words. I don't turn the actual hive that way. want you to see the words. 2 mediums, 2 deeps. Yeah, I know I'm going to confuse somebody. All right, go back around, whatever. Doesn't matter, it's the same point. 2 mediums, 2 deeps. Now watch this. Traditionally, when you start beekeeping, if you're part of a local bee club or whatever, a group teaching you and stuff like that, you'll start off in what we call double deeps, 2 deeps. And that's pretty traditional. It has pluses and minuses. Each scenario has pluses and minuses, but what we're doing today is comparing this setup strategy, double deeps, to this setup strategy, double mediums, for brooding. We're talking about brooding. I've always taught my students, don't worry about the honey. The honey is the caboose. Worry about the engine. If you learn the engine, focus on the engine. Everything else follows. This is the engine. The brood chamber is the engine. We're talking about the engine, manipulation of the engine. But there's some differences here. Learned this years back. It's so frustrating. I know a lot of people get frustrated, but once it's explained to them, they go, okay, now I know what I'm seeing. So there was a difference in the field as I was working. This is a long time ago. That I thought, in my mind, I thought all colonies operated the same. All operate the same. Well, not really. Not really. That when we put bees in a double deep, okay, here are the pluses. I'll give you the pros and cons of each. Pros and cons, pluses. Double deeps give us high odds of survival through the winter. True. High odds of survival through the winter. Double deeps, positive. I could sell some bees off of that. That's true. Double deep, positive. Insurance policy that I make sure I have bees on the property. Always. It's just an insurance policy. That's true. So here's some negatives. High population, congestion, creates excess moisture. Lots of moisture in a group like this, set up like that, lots of moisture. High moisture content helps to produce a lot of mites. Varroa mites thrive on the moisture. So typically we see quite a bit of Varroa mite troubles in double deeps. Right? You just have to be aware of that. Now I am talking in terms of traditional solid bottom board. I do not like solid bottom boards. And then solid tops. Okay, that's pretty traditional. When you have a setup like that, you create, there's byproducts or natural issues created a high CO2 level. If you have a solid bottom, full double deep, solid top, whoa, that big group of bees is producing tons of CO2. And CO2 is heavier than oxygen. And you've given them a little tiny hole here in the front to go, and maybe a little tiny hole up here. No. That CO2's got nowhere to sink away and out of the hive. It's not going to be enough to have a little hole, but you can have them on solid bottom or screen bottom boards and pull the tray, and the CO2 sinks right out. Hang tough with me. Hang tough here. Follow along. So I get calls from different parts of the country. Sometimes it kind of goes like this. Mr. Davis, I've got this big group of bees and a couple of double deeps, and man, they had a box of honey up there, and boy, they are dead, and a lot of honey up there, and I don't understand why. It's CO2, and they go right back into their lament. I've got double deeps. So you're not listening. CO2 is a silent killer. You can't see it. You can't smell it. It's there, and it makes bees real lethargic, and they can't get into a tight cluster and stay warm. They have to be able to get in a tight cluster to stay warm. CO2 makes them lethargic. They can't get in a tight cluster night after night after night, so they start shedding the outer insulated shell of bees, and they get smaller and smaller until they just can't They can't keep warm and they succumb to the cold, despite what honey you have up top. Ah, some of you hear that right now and you go, ah, ding, 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 ding. That's what's happened to my colony. Well, probably. If it's a big group in this setup, double deeps, if it's a big group on a solid bottom board with a solid top, probably so. Not always, but if they die, and you have a box of honey up here, yeah, you got to kind of think that through. Anyway, okay, so here we go. Continuing on. So double deeps has some unique problems. What about honey production? Oh, not really super stellar. People get excited when they get a couple of boxes of honey off of this. You know, maybe they have a queen excluder up top, and they get, oh man, maybe they get 2 mediums of honey. Oh man, yeah, boy, man, I did good. I was like, I just kind of keep myself to myself, and in my mind, I'm going, that's all you got? That's it? And you're excited. I said, okay. So let's pull that away. That's pretty traditional, pretty normal. Pull that away. Okay, now watch this. I'm still talking about double deeps here. So when I was new and I got, I don't know, 4 sets of Russians. I had bought 4 sets of Russians, and they were double deeps, bought them from the gentleman. Double deeps, packed full of Russian bees. And boy, I opened that top up to do my inspection, and those bees were packed in there, and they were kind of robust, and I was kind of overwhelmed. I shut that lid up, and I said, I got other chores to go do. A little bit overwhelming. So there's a truckload of bees in here. There's a big volume of bees, okay? But as the time went on, I started running different boxes. I'd run different mediums, you know, and I tried some double medium sets, and things were different. They were different. Like, whoa, what the heck, man? What is this attitude change? This difference here? Difference in attitude, calmer. Difference in honey production, bigger. Difference in health condition, better. Difference in just overall function, like what the heck, man? So as the years go by, I paid closer and closer attention. Okay, now watch, follow along. Double mediums, double deeps. So sometime, I can't tell you what year it was sometime back there. I was like, okay, I got to see this difference here. I got to acknowledge this difference here. So as I begin to operate in these differences, I put a division, just a mental division between this group and this group. And here's the division I made. You know, I'm going to treat this group a little bit differently than this group. Double medium, double deep for brooding. In this group, I'm not going to expect a whole bunch of honey. If they give me a box or 2, that's pretty cool, not bad. But in this group, it will give me high odds of survival in the wintertime. I will always have bees on the property as an insurance policy. Like that. Insurance policy. I like that. And if ever I need to sell some nukes of bees or something, I can pull 2 or 3 frames of bees here and put with a queen in a little nuke, and off it goes. So this scenario became bee sales. It became bee insurance policy for the winter, insurance policy, and not such major honey production, not major honey. And now that works. See, boom. I still had to take care of mite control, etc., etc. But I still was on screen bottom board, which is a major deal. There's some major benefits there. Screen bottom board. Queens lay better with fresh air. Fact, principle. Bees love the fresh air, particularly the queen will lay fresh air, and we get the mites to fall out through the screen bottom board, part of our pest management, integrated pest management system. So now this became not just about honey. This became about insurance of bees on the property, always having bees on the property, high odds of survival in the winter. I can sell bees off, so this was a bee sales kind of thing. Okay. Well, how about this group? Double medium. Watch this. Check this out. Now I'm going to have to, for this example, I'm going to have to pull this away. Well, I fill those up with bees, fill them up with bees. And, maybe you give them a jar of sugar water to get the wax going. And it doesn't take long to fill those boxes up. And I'm going, yeah, put a queen excluder on there. Oh, man. Now they're full. Well, I need to come in and put a medium box, another medium box on there. And there'll be a screen bottom board, and we'll put solar ventilators on both sets of bees. And I'm going, woo, man, 3 weeks. I mean, they loaded that baby up with honey. Holy crap. Okay, we'll give them another medium. And I'm going, boy, now this is cool here now. Another 3 or 4 weeks, they fill that up. And I'm going, dadgum. Okay, let's go, girls. And man, I give them another medium or even a shallow. I like mediums. So I give them a medium. And I'm going, dadgum. Another 3, 4 weeks goes by. And they have filled this box. Now we're into like late May, maybe early June. And I'm coming down to the June time frame and go, holy crap, give them another box. They got the momentum going. And I'm going, man, that's rockin' cool. That's awesome. Now what? Now watch. What the heck? Now why is it there's this dramatic difference between this set and that set? Well, and here's what I think. In the bottom down here, the brood chamber area, there's not lots of room to lay in a ton of honey. But if you give them double deeps, like was over here, they got a bunch of excess room to throw down and pack away and store a whole bunch of extra honey they don't necessarily need. So if I took the stack of boxes like this double deep and these double mediums, set them side by side, there's only like, man, 1.5 inch difference. And that's all it takes to make a major difference. And then I would see, again, we're on screen bottom board with a ventilator at top and a screen spacer, 1.5 inch spacer. So it'd be like, here's my 1.5 inch screen spacer, hardware cloth, 1/8 inch, just like the screen bottom board. Screen side goes down, ventilator on top. That started to happen. And I was going, what the heck, man? And even my bee teacher, he come out to help us harvest honey. And he looked at those big stacks and he said, young man, all them boxes full of honey. And I said, yes, sir, they are. He was like, whoa, man. We noted this change, this difference in these two styles of setups, that we changed their environment inside and got a different result. So walk with me here. No, watch this. So in a double medium brood chamber, we did just the other day the advantage of doing a flip and twist for swarm prevention. You can go back and study that. Flip and twist for swarm prevention, as long as there's no wet queen cups. Screen bottom board, queen excluder, and then started putting boxes of honey on. And I'm going, okay, these girls kicked it into high gear with tremendous momentum. So on the frames down in here, I didn't find a whole bunch of excess honey, but a bunch of brood. Loaded up, a lot of brood. That's cool. So one thing I think they do is, because we've really kind of reduced their brood space just a little bit, then they're going to take that honey up, plus whatever they're bringing in. But as I begin to work this, and again, screen bottom board, 1.5 inch screen spacer, screen side down, and a solar vent on top. You can go to becoolventilators.com, becoolventilators.com. Gary Stearns is the owner. I don't get any compensation for promoting or suggesting you go there. It's just a smart idea, just a great principle, smart idea. That we supplement the ventilation for the bees, and a lot of the mature girls don't have to stay here and fan. So we get more bees in the field, bringing in more nectar, We're getting more moisture out, reduced mite load troubles, more production out of them. Oh, it's just positive all the way around. A healthier colony, more honey. Whoa, holy moly. If you know anything about harvesting honey, 2 mediums that's full, 9 frames each, 9, 9, 9. 2 boxes, 9 frames full is going to give me like a 5-gallon pail plus maybe a quarter of another pail. Oh, it's a lot. Oh, yeah. So there's at least 5. There's 10, and I may even put some more boxes on there yet. So at least 10 gallons of honey just off of this set. So as I begin to work with these 2 different brood setup strategies, the thinking changed. Like, no. I'm not selling any bees off of this. No. This is my honey machine. This is my honey machine. This is my pollen machine for putting on a pollen trap on the bottom and running it for pollen harvesting. So I began to treat this set, manage it completely different than I would this. So if you separate those issues in your mind and go out there just to pick a couple of sets and do this, kind of play with this and pay close attention. And after the season's over, be honest with yourself. Be honest, okay? Take good notes and be honest with yourself. But in this double medium, set all things being equal, good nectar flow and no drought and on, that I was getting more production out of double mediums. Boy, I'm going, oh my gosh, holy cow. And of course, assuming you got a good queen who's laying good, she's not dried out. 3 or 4-year-old queens all dried out, and then it's not going to lay well. Here we go, boom. So I treat this double deep different than I do double medium. Okay, pros and cons. Pros and cons here. Here's the pluses. Much higher honey production. Much better pollen production. Less mite issues. Better ventilation. Solar vent on top of both of them. Temperament's better. What? Watch. Temperament's better. And I'm going, dang. Okay, so what's the negatives? Brood chamber's just a little bit tighter than that one. You have to pay attention to potential to swarm. Not always. Doesn't always happen. Don't freak out about it. Just pay attention. Just pay attention to it. Negatives. Crickets. You got my point? I mean, that's about it. That's about it. Was like, okay, well, they may flip over into swarm mode, so I'm just going to pay attention to them. Okay. What? No, watch. I want to throw you a curveball. Here comes a curveball. In this scenario, sometimes, again, not often, sometimes the girls aren't satisfied with double mediums to brood in. They go, we want more brood room. Boy, now here comes a curveball. Some of you that don't follow us, that are like older beekeepers, you're just going to howl. You're going to scream. Here we go. The workers control the brood chamber. And if they don't like that, as far as room goes, they're going to go get an egg, a bee egg, and they're going to take it up through the queen excluder and begin to raise a queen and begin to let her build some brood in there. If she can't get out to fly and mate, she'll lay a bunch of infertile drones. It'll be kind of messy. Or the workers will take an egg down through the queen excluder, and they'll build a dobble of bees on wax comb underneath the queen excluder, and they'll make a queen cell, and they'll have a whole new group running down there. And here comes the screams and howls. I know it's contrary. It blows your mind. But if you will be honest with yourself, you experienced beekeepers out there, you go, I thought this was a swarm down here. No. Go turn that bottom board over and go find that queen cell that hatched out. See, you got to think. You got to think. You can't assume bees move eggs. It's a principle. They didn't ask you. They didn't ask you for your opinion. Bees move eggs. Can be a negative to this setup. It doesn't happen very often, but it can. And if you haven't seen it or don't know it, it will baffle you. It will set you back on your heels, and you go, "What the heck am I seeing, man?" Because you'll come and do an inspection, and you'll take off the top, and you look at this box, go, "Oh, that's really cool." And you set it down here, and you're looking at your honey, and you go, "Oh, then that's really cool." And you get down here, and you find this brood down here. Wait a minute, there's a queen excluded right there. I know that. They took an egg and moved an egg up in there and laid eggs. Have you not ever been in the field and turned over a rock? Turn over a rock, and go, "Oh, look, there's ants." And what are those ants running off with? Those little white things. Those are eggs. They're running off of the That's a bee's an insect. Now, a bee can pick up their own eggs, and they can move it as they want to move it, up or down. So don't freak out about that. You're being told ahead of time. Bees move eggs. It's a principle. Bees move eggs. Well, now when we have double deep over here, now I don't recall ever seeing that. So this can be a little bit of a negative. Or you look at that and go, if they do that, I'm going to take advantage of that. And I'm going to catch that queen underneath that bottom and her bees, and I'm going to put them in a nuke. That's what I did. I just broke it down, shifted it over, put a new bottom board in, took that bottom board, turned it over, and harvested me out a queen and bees. I'm going to take a lemon and make some great lemonade out of it. So not necessarily a negative to me. The first time you see that, where you have maybe, let's say you have maybe you are, what do you call staggering your boxes? You're doing some shuffling of the boxes where they get some ventilation. They get ventilation. That new queen, she can go boop, out she goes to fly mate, and she'll come right back here. Now she'll lay regular brood up here. Well, don't freak out. Just take advantage of it. Just flip it around, make you a new colony out of it, right? But that's just that doesn't happen that often, so it's not you don't have to panic. Nope, don't panic. But this, once I acknowledge the difference here between double deeps and double mediums, we got a lot better. Oh, yes. In attitude, me as a beekeeper, attitude, strategy, production, management, oh, yes, it got much, much better. So I make those highlights for a reason, so that you will understand, if I go back, double deeps. There is a dramatic difference between managing double deeps and double mediums, okay? And we had some of our other videos taught you how to go from a double deep into a medium set. You can go back and watch that, how to create a medium set from double deeps. There's some other videos that we're going to make today on some of these topics, but we're trying to separate these titles in little vignettes, so that you can look at these things one challenge at a time, one strategy at a time, one problem at a time. So my suggestion to you would be that you begin to think differently about double deeps and double mediums. And if you want to play with it, just run, let's say you run 2 sets in your apiary. Double deeps, pay close attention to them. Double mediums, pay close attention and just see what happens. No guarantees on anything. Of course, everything being equal. Age of the queen, 2 years, 2-year-old queen's prime queen. Good nectar flow. We got a good nectar roll. We got things working on our behavior, and just trying to see the difference between the two. And if you're honest with yourself, I think you will find that, okay, man, maybe this is just better. Yes, double deeps, high odds of survival through the winter. High moisture content, high varroa population. Good bee sales, good for bee sales, kind of low in honey production up top. A double medium, big honey production, may tend to be a little bit swarmy, have to pay attention to them. Healthier than the other set, healthier, better airflow, less honey in the brood chamber. So they both have pros and cons. And you just decide for yourself. But this is what this is, well, gosh, 18 years of doing this. This is what we have come to is like, okay, once I made this division, this mental division, I managed these different than these, and oh man, it was just so much better. It was just, in all the ways, it was just so much better. So I hope you'll think about that and go back and watch the video again. Take some notes. You know, if you got questions, contact us. If you want to go back to the website, to littlecreekbeeranch.com, and go to the ebook library, there's 8 different ebooks that we've written there. You can study those. And the personal advisor program is just the tops for everything that we do, private coaching service. And you can read there on the page all that you get in the service, which I think is worthy. Free Zoom classes are included in that, plus the conference calls and newsletters and stuff. Very, very cool. But hope we're learning, hope we're teaching others, and we're learning how to raise our BIQ and think about things in a little bit different, in a different mode. I hope we're making a difference for you, raising the BIQ. And it's 19 degrees outside. Holy crap, man. And we'll check you later. More of these tabletop videos coming. Stay tuned.